Welcome back. We've been considering Jesus' message to 7 of the churches in Asia Minor. Today we'll consider his comments to the church of Pergamos. It's located in verses 12 to 17 of Revelation chapter 2. And to the angel of the church in Pergamos write, "These things says he who has a sharp two-edged sword. I know your works, and where you dwell, where Satan's throne is. And you hold fast to my name, and did not deny my faith, even in the days in which Antipas was my faithful martyr, who was killed among you, where Satan dwells. But I have a few things against you, because you have there those who hold the doctrine of Balaam, who taught Balak to put a stumbling block before the children of Israel, to eat things sacrificed to idols, and to commit sexual immorality. Thus you also have those who hold the doctrine of the Nicolaitans, which thing I hate. Repent, or else I will come to you quickly, and will fight against them with the sword of my mouth. He who has an ear, let him hear what the Spirit says to the churches. To him who overcomes, I will give some of the hidden manna to eat, and I will give him a white stone, and on the stone a new name written, which no one knows except him who receives it." Jesus speaks to the church of Pergamos in a similar manner as he did to the church of Ephesus. First, he commended the church for their diligence on his behalf, but then he shares a negative that needs to be addressed. To this church, he states that they have some who hold the doctrine of Balaam. We read about Balaam in Numbers chapter 22 through chapter 24. When Balak, the king of Zippor, wanted to curse the nation of Israel, he sent to hire Balaam to do so. When Balak's men arrive, Balaam informs them that he needed to inquire of Yahweh. Yahweh told him not to go. So Balaam told the men of Balak that he couldn't go. They then traveled back to Balak, and Balak upped the reward. The men went back to Balaam. Balaam again went to Yahweh, and again Yahweh refused. However, Yahweh then came to Balaam later and told him that he could go, but only on the condition that he would say only what Yahweh told him to say. Balaam went with the men of Balak to Balak. Balak set him up 7 times to curse Israel, but yet each one of those times Yahweh placed his word in the mouth of Balaam, that Balaam wound up blessing the children of Israel 7 times. Balak was outraged, but Balaam wanted that money. Balaam wanted that prize. And so we read later in Numbers 25, verses 1 to 3, "Now Israel remained in Acacia Grove, and the people began to commit harlotry with the woman of Moab. They invited the people to the sacrifices of their gods, and the people ate and bowed down to their gods. So Israel was joined to Baal-Peor, and the anger of Yahweh was aroused against them." How did that happen? Well, we find out a couple chapters later in Numbers 31. "And Moses said to them, Have you kept all the women alive? Look, these women caused the children of Israel, through the counsel of Balaam, to trespass against Yahweh in the incident of Peor, and there was a plague among the congregation of Yahweh." Balaam wanted that reward money, and so he found a way around God to get it. He couldn't curse Israel because Yahweh kept putting the blessing in his mouth. So he counseled Balak and the other pagan kings to send their women into the men of Israel in a sultry-like manner to entice them into having relationships, sexual immorality with their pagan women, and then eventually were led into the worship of these false pagan gods. Peter warns of false teachers in the church who are doing the same thing. We read about it in 2 Peter chapter 2, verses 12 to 15. But these, like natural brute beasts made to be caught and destroyed, speak evil of the things they do not understand, and will utterly perish in their own corruption, and will receive the wages of unrighteousness as those who count it pleasure to carouse in the daytime. They are spots and blemishes, carousing in their own deceptions while they feast with you, having eyes full of adultery that cannot cease from sin, enticing unstable souls. They have a heart trained in covetous practices and are accursed children. They have forsaken the right way and gone astray, following the way of Balaam, the son of Beor, who loved the wages of unrighteousness. Jesus said that we cannot serve two gods. We cannot choose to serve God and mammon at the same time. We must choose which God we want to serve. Do we want the pleasures and things of this world? Do we want the treasures of this earth? Or do we want the blessings and treasures that come from worshiping and serving the one and only true God? Balaam chose the treasures of the world over the treasures of Yahweh. That's what was going on in the church of Pergamos. The church began to want the things of this world more than they wanted the things of God. Those serving Christ wanted the pleasures of the earth more than they wanted the pleasures of God. Brethren, we need to be committed unto Christ, to take the warnings that Jesus gives to these churches and willingly apply them to our own life. If there is a need to repent, to do so. If there is a need for a recommitment, to do so. Do we desire the things of Christ more than the things of this world? Jesus says, repent, or else I will come to you quickly and will fight against them with the sword of my mouth. Brethren, pray, and have a blessed day.